What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Knights here, and welcome back to another MORDHAU guide video. This week I'm hoping to shed some information and mechanical knowledge upon new players that are interested in this game, or players that are struggling. You know, you might have a few hundred hours, but you're kind of plateauing in the way of your skill set. You don't really know how to improve, what to work on, whether you should be playing duels all day or be in front lines. So hopefully this video will help explain how to accelerate your learning process and not make some of the mistakes that I made in my process of learning this game. So I wanted to quickly mention that this game is going to take some time. It's not like any other game I've ever played before. It takes a lot of time and timing, understanding. Like, for example, if you were to take an AI and have them try to learn this game, at the beginning it would be one of the hardest learning curves, because every single weapon in the game has a different windup, a different release, a different range, different damage. So in order for a beginner human or a beginner AI to learn something like this, it's going to require a lot of hours of practice to understand, oh, okay, the cleaver overhead excels are insanely fast and I need to like parry really fast, or I need to look for, you know, quick overhead feints if they're using fast to wind up weapons. You know, you need to be on your toes and know what weapons are going to strike at what moment, or if they're going to feint it, know when, like how quickly they would likely feint that attack so that you can hard read them better. So it really just takes time. But if you're looking for like order of operations and how you start to improve your play, first of all, I would say a balance between frontline and duels. Now you can play skirmish, but from what I've found, unless you're playing comp skirmish, a lot of the servers, like, people are just messing around. But it can absolutely be good practice for sure. So duels and frontlines being kind of the main two modes for the mass majority of the community, I'd recommend you play like a 60-40 hybrid between the two, whichever direction you'd like to play. I play a bit more frontline than I do duels, just because I find it to be a little bit more like relaxing and fun, and just kind of like looking to go clip hunting. But if you're really looking to like improve your personal like mechanical skill, the best technique is to just go into duels, find the best player, like get your ass kicked, and then just ask them like in chat, like, hey, like, you mind if I like just get destroyed by you for a little while, like just to get some practice in, man? And like, if, you know, they don't have to say yes, but if they do, it will really help you get better. Like I myself, like I was getting 10-0'd by like these really good players because I asked them like, hey, like, come destroy me. And by the end of like an hour or so of dueling them, like it was like 5-5 or 6-4. Like the scoreline was so much closer. Strong players will really show you where your weak points are. So that's why I'd recommend, like, don't play all front lines, because then you're not gonna like understand like proper mechanics when 1v1ing, which is where you can kind of grow a lot of your personal mechanical skill. Whereas frontline is a really good like practice for playing comp, because it teaches you a lot about target switching, which dueling doesn't really teach you anything about. So kind of to rewind here, in order, I would recommend you start by setting up proper keybinds. Now, my personal preference and what I'd recommend you do is to set up binds for all of your attacks, and then set up 240 for your stab. Now, I'm sorry I don't have like overlays on the screen, but what this would look like is your stab bind would just say stab, it wouldn't be left or right. And then for your binds themselves, they would either be bound to left or right, or be bound to all right, and then you'd use your left alt or some other button to flip attack side. Now, what I do is I use my left alt to flip attack side for my normal horizontal attacks, and it would work for my overheads, I suppose. The word around the block is that left overhead attacks are a little bit stronger than right overheads because of the nature of the JPEGs and wristy twisties and like the animations. Basically, I bound my main overhead to left overhead, which is mouse wheel down, but then press mouse wheel in is right overhead. So if I'm like spamming my mouse wheel and I accidentally bump it when I'm trying to riposte, either way it's going to be an overhead riposte, and that's why I really like it. Is like, worst case scenario, I'll accidentally bump it, it'll be a right overhead, but like 8 out of 10 times it's going to be a left overhead when I want it to be, and it can really throw off your opponents. So I have double binds for my overheads, my stabs on 240, and I have double binds for my undercut, which is tilt tilt mouse wheel left and right. Now that's just for my mouse in specific. I have a Rock Hat Cone EMP, so I really like that mouse. Learned the proper binds. I made a video on that. Set up binds for kicks and crouch. Those are two pretty important binds as well. Not as important as your main attacks, but they're really important when you start to get to higher levels. Now, you want to then learn how to riposte everything like it's second nature. Riposting should not be difficult for you unless it's some sort of like 180 flick around riposte, which is, you know, that's a different story. Learn chamber timing, learn how to overhead chamber. Those are kind of difficult. Underhand and overhead chambers are a lot harder than the normal horizontal and stab chambers. So if you want to get better, try to start doing more overhead attacks and figure out exactly how to chamber their overhead attacks. Then I'd recommend learning 1vx's, learn like footwork, timing, positioning, learn how to lead a crowd of people. I made a video on this as well. Just get really good at movement and shuffling, disengaging, bandaging, know when to fight, when to disengage, when to use your team to your advantage, all those sorts of things. And that's going to be about it for the video, guys. There's so much more when it comes to like chamber morphing, combo morphing, riposte FTPing, chamber feint, combo feint. Like these are, it just gets so in depth that I don't want to lose the vision of this video for you guys. So if you liked this, let me know in the description and I will make a more descriptive video with some more actual like visual demos of exactly how to do all these more intricate mechanics. But as for being a beginner or intermediate player, I'd recommend just following the steps of this video. Watch this gameplay, watch my highlights videos, not just for the sake of watching them, but kind of analyze the gameplay. Watch other good streamers, watch Kongol, he's streaming on Twitch all the time. I'll link him in the description below. He's a good friend of mine. He's on Tempest, which most consider to be the best MORDHAU comp team in NA. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really look forward to hearing your feedback, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
You just